It is yucky outside. Let me start that over. Hey, what's up, you guys? It is nasty out. Holy crap. It is cold. It's raining. It's cold. It's raining. Yes. I don't know. This morning, we actually had a brief period of snow. Very brief. Followed by, I think it's called Droplet, or it's like these little snowy ice pellets, and then some thunder and lightning during that, and now it has since transitioned over to rain. Not exactly exciting to shoot in this. I mean, my gear can do it. Well, not the gear I have today. What's in the bag today? Today is the Pen F, currently with the 17mm f1.8 attached to it. I also have the 45mm f1.8 and the 12mm f2. So if I say Pen F, you just know it's going to be primes. But the selection of primes that I brought today, very, I think out scenarios, I guess, or use cases in my head before I grab lenses to take each day. So this morning, or last night when I was packing the bag, I was thinking about morning shots. Potentially, I always leave with enough time, so you never know weather-wise what you might see. So that's why I had the 12mm f2, because if it was cold enough, we could get light pillars, which is bizarre to think we could get light pillars in April, but I know a photographer who shot them the night before last. Actually a really spectacular display of light pillars. So the 12mm was for that, or for the return trip home today, if I wanted to stop and shoot landscapes, but the sky is nasty. There's not a lot of structure to the cloud, it's just gray. So I probably won't be shooting any landscapes today. I guess there's a little bit of structure out here. But I'm shooting with the 12mm prime, so it's not weather sealed. Neither's the Pen F, for that matter. 17mm f1.8, just because I don't care what's going on. If I'm bringing the Pen F, that lens is coming along for the ride. Just because it's like a utilitarian lens. It can do it all for me. Whether it's kind of close-up work on people, or it's just general street shooting or from the hip shooting, what have you, 17mm just works good. And then the 45mm f1.8, in case I wanted something where I wanted to be able to isolate the background or isolate my subject from the background. Shooting at 1.8 is a good help. Having a little bit of compression due to focal length is an added help. So that's why I brought that. Just because I was thinking that there's a chance maybe during the day, on my lunch break or something, I'd kind of wander around the facility I work in and just shoot some whatever catches my eye. But I didn't do that. Actually, I never do that. I always think I'm going to do that, and I don't. I end up catching up on social media stuff at lunch, but whatever. I was prepared. I had all the lenses with me. So that was the what's in my bag today. Can't believe how long it takes me to say what's in my bag, but sometimes I feel like not only saying what's in my bag, but explaining the thought process behind what goes in the bag each day. Whatever, I'm a little weird. So, with that being said, I'm not really probably going to stop and shoot on the way home because it's nasty. And I'm not sure if I'm going to shoot tonight. This is one of those days where the camera's with me and it's probably not going to get used. I considered doing some water droplet photography, and I still might. I've got a few things I want to get done around the house first, and if I get those done and decide to do some water droplet photography, maybe I'll set this camera up and this will just be an extremely long vlog post that becomes a tutorial at the same time. It's something I've been wanting to do, to share just how simple it is to do something like that. So who knows? If I get things knocked out in a timely manner this evening, maybe you'll see how I do some water drop photography. See you in a bit. I hate rain. Still raining. Still not happy. Hey, what's up you guys? I am back home and told you I might mess around and do a little bit of water drop photography, I guess. And I'm gonna do it. There's nothing else to do and I've been wanting to do it for a while. So I'm in my little tiny room here and it's little. Really little. I mean, I can darn near reach across it. So this is basically the only reason I mention that is to tell you that you don't need a lot of space. You don't need a lot of high-tech equipment to do it. I mean, sure. Hold on. It's driving me nuts. There's dust on the front of this lens. It's gonna piss me off. Ooh, get the brightness down. There we go. So, anyways, it doesn't have to be a high dollar affair here. There are dripper systems that are like basically like what you would use for an IV drip system, or for those of you into the reef tank thing, a dosimeter for dosing calcium to your reef tank. Random nerdy thing to say, I guess. But anyways, you don't have to do that. I'll show you what I'm using here today. This is Stubbs marinade injector syringe. It's basically just a big fat syringe. This is what's going to be doing the dripping, okay? Just a big fat syringe for injecting marinade into your meat. I've got this little sundae dish or ice cream dish. It's uranium glass. It's radioactive. I don't know. I collect weird stuff. There's that. There is another ice cream dish, just a cheap plastic one, for the one dish to sit on top of the other. An empty ice cream bucket. There's like a theme going on here. 2 ice cream dishes, an ice cream bucket. The bucket is going to catch stray water so I don't make too big of a mess. Inside the bucket, I've just got this empty plastic case that held some painter's tape, and that's just to elevate things up. And I've got some water from the tap. And for camera gear, I'm going to be using an EM1, which I don't have pictured here yet because it's not set up. But I've got an FL600R sitting on just a cheap, you know, $20 Amazon light stand. And I'm using the FLCB05, I think is what it's called. It's the flash cable from Olympus. You don't have to do that. You could do it. I think wireless triggers would probably be fast enough. There's no reason they shouldn't be. You could do line of sight flash triggering like with the Olympus flashes. I don't think that it would prevent you from being able to do this. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to be using the 60mm macro. Maybe I might use another lens. It just depends on the field of view and how close I can get everything to the setup, because like I said, this is a small room. You know, this is where I sit and this is the table. So I mean, there's very little room between the two. So let me get set up. I'm going to turn this camera off. Once everything's set up and this camera's on a tripod, we'll get started and I'll explain the setup, okay? So far, the majority of this you have in your kitchen or a garage or wherever. So Alright, I'm back. I've got everything set up, but I changed this setup actually quite a bit from what I showed you earlier, and I'll just go over what the changes were and why. So let me turn the camera around. I lied. I ended up choosing to shoot with an EM10 Mark II instead of an EM1 just because it was closer, I guess. So yeah, EM10 Mark II. Just got the accessory flash that actually comes with like the Pen F and I think the EM5 Mark II. That's mounted on the EM10 Mark II, the 60mm macro like I said I was going to do. So I've obviously eliminated the FL CB05, I think it is, the flash cable, just so that I could go wireless. I took the FL 600R off the flash stand just so I could get it as close to my white background as possible. The flash settings. So this flash is on slave mode manual, and I think I have got it set at guide number 8.5, and actually I think I do want to boost it up just a little bit. Oh, there we go. Well, 12 I think will be enough, and it's positioned back here so that it illuminates the white background that I set up. And this is just some corrugated plastic that I picked up from work. It's something that products come into the facility covered in this stuff, so I use it for all kinds of purposes. I've got my camera pre-focused on the center of that dish out there, okay? And the way that I did that was I put the camera in manual focus mode, and I just dangled something over the top of it. I dangled like a keychain or something, I don't remember what it was. And then manually focused on that. So that's how I got focus. Settings on the camera, I'm in manual mode, 160th of a second, f5.6. And if you go into the flash menu, I've got it set to flash compensation of +3. I can probably change that now actually, since I increased the guide number on the flash. So just do a little test shot to see how bright that turns out. It's still a little dark. I could probably bump the flash up just a fuzz. But, so how this works, let me get the camera back here far enough. Now remember, this is all just tabletop. So basically I'm using this little syringe here, and I'm just going to hold it above my my little water dish here. And this is so much trial and error. It's basically, you want to try to time the impact of the drop with your depressing of the shutter button. And I'll give it a few shots here. And I'll just do several before I start reviewing. And I'll tell you what, there are a lot more misses than hits, especially this way. Another way to do this is to actually set up a stand up above and use a Ziploc baggie and puncture a little tiny hole in it, and that way the drips come out at a uniform rate, and you can kind of get the rhythm for how fast they come out and time your shots out easier that way. I don't have the time, inclination, or room really to set up some overhead system to do that. Like I said, super simple, super quick. And what I'll do, I'm gonna fire off about a dozen shots here, or I say a dozen, it might be 3 dozen until I get a couple of good shots, and then I'll share them at the end of the video. So that's it for today, you guys. I'm running late on time. I still need to process this video, so I'm gonna get some shots off here and share them with you guys. See ya. Bye. Okay, remember when I said I'd take about a dozen shots, maybe a little more? I'm at 327 shots. I think I have 2 that are any good. So let me get these processed and share them at the end of the video. I'm wore out. This was like a really tedious setup. So I'll show you what the setup ended up looking like at the end. Turn the camera around here. So I'm using this photographer's notebook that my buddy Seth made. I've used painter's tape to hold it up to my white background so I could get a colored background, and you'll see what that looks like in the finished shots. This light over here matters not. It didn't get used for anything. I was experimenting with a few different options, didn't do anything. Ended up flipping the this ice cream dish upside down. It makes a shallower area, shallower depth of water, so it creates a bigger splash, and also gives you the opportunity to get those ones that look like a crown opening up. Those are really hard to get in deep water, so you need shallow water to do that, and that's what I ended up doing, was that slight mess here, but it's pretty much contained just to this little table, easy to wipe up. I've got a towel up here just for that. So let me get to processing some photos, and I'll share them, and I am done for the night. See you guys. Oh, gotta show you my bad hair day. See you guys.